than 11 billion pounds a year, 11 billion, on treating illness caused by the effects of diet, lack of exercise, smoking, and drinking alcohol. The direct cost to the NHS of obesity alone, the people being overweight, is estimated at 6.1 billion a year. It's in the media everywhere. So it's frightening, but there is some good news. And the good news is that you can, the leading authorities also say you can prevent a lot of this. And we're talking about, in the European Union, this is, what's this one called? The European Council on something or other, American Heart Association, World Health Organization, CDC, etc. They all agree that some basic things can make a big difference. Weight management, of course, physical activity, and a diet rich in whole food nutrients found in whole grains, fruits, vegetables, and fish. I was in the Philippines 6 or 7 years ago, and again I picked up a newspaper, and this was in the local press. It was written. It was from. Again, it was a public service sort of information. I said the incidence of in the Philippines of heart disease, the same thing, the same chronic diseases, has skyrocketed. And the recommendation is the Filipinos go back to their traditional way of eating. Fish, rice, whole grains. They say it right there. So they help us to tell our story. So sometimes people may not trust what you say because they may not think you're an authority, but use the press. You can find it on the internet, it's everywhere, all of this backup information in presenting your product. Sounds easy, right? Well, of course, whole grains, colorful fruits and veggies, and omega-3 rich fish. Several times in one day? Well, how many of you have ever met Dr. Arthur First? I think, Chris, you must have. You have, right? Okay. What a wonderful person he was. I had the privilege and the honor of traveling extensively with Dr. First, and so I got to pick his brain a little bit. And there was a man, by the way, who, well into his 80s, was traveling, looked forward to being at our events, because he had a message to give. If you've ever were present at a convention where people get up and speak at one of our conventions, even though his sessions maybe were the most important, he usually took the least amount of time. He wasn't all full of himself. And Dr. First, in 20 minutes, would deliver a message of why Neolife and why Neolife products. And so he was at the forefront of all of the research. He was the one that initially created the Scientific Advisory Board, a man of so many talents because he was a doctor, a toxicologist, well known in his field. His research and the work that he originally did back at Stanford led to what became oral chemotherapy eventually. So here's a man who we were very fortunate to be a part of our company at the time that he was, because it led to the Scientific Advisory Board and the products that we have today. And his philosophy was always, we never compromise on quality. Never compromise on quality. It may cost a little bit more, but you get what you pay for. And all of the members of the Scientific Advisory Board are all active. Dr. Anjana Srivastava, I can remember being here in this hotel when we launched TRE about 4 or 5 years ago here in the European market, and she'll be coming back to Europe later on this year. In fact, I spoke with Katarina Martin. They'll be doing some SAB webinars. You'll be hearing about that when she comes. So you'll be able to, even from your home, together with your team, listen in on some of the webinars done by our SAB just for the European market. Solution Daily Whole Food Nutrition. Now, we all know the importance of cellular nutrition. You know that Neolife was the pioneer in the nutritional products industry when it came to cellular nutrition. Now, other companies, of course, jumped on the bandwagon, and we're talking about cellular nutrition, but it was neolite because with the creation of Formula 4 and the Tray-NN grain concentrates that come from wheat, rice, and soy, the oils from wheat, rice, and soy, that's the key to making it all work because it helps to keep the cells healthy. Our cells are all covered with a membrane. That membrane is a fatty tissue, and it's there to protect what's inside the cell because that's the key to life right there. All of the workings inside that cell which produce energy, and we have hair cells and skin cells and muscle cells and so forth. Very important to our health, our whole well-being. So if it doesn't get into the cells, it doesn't work, basically. So Tray-NN is so unique in that it helps to energize, it keeps the cell membrane healthy, allowing the nutrients in, the waste to get out. And so you couldn't do that from diet alone. Why? Because you can buy whole wheat bread, but it's not whole grain, and there's a difference. Because what was in the grains was taken out. The oils that are in the grains, whether they be oats or wheat or it doesn't matter, it's taken out. Why? To extend the shelf life of that bread, so that it can sit on that supermarket shelf several days longer, a week longer. When you look at a product like cereals, and the date is expiration date, wow, 6 or 7 months, that's great. Well, in order for that to happen, they have to take the oils out. Otherwise, the product will go bad sooner. They become rancid. Well, so diet, it's important to have the whole grains in your diet, but a lot of the foods that we associate, unless we're eating the whole grains, a lot of the foods we associate with nutritional foods aren't as healthy as we may think, like some of the breads, some of the cereals, and so forth. So, because the nutrients are stripped out. Now, we put back in what nature was intended for you to have, those in the form of oils and Tray-NN. Another product, carotenoid complex. This to me is an incredible product because it's that nutritional insurance from fruits and vegetables to ensure that we're getting those compounds that we need to help keep our immune system strong and healthy and fight off disease. Now, they say we should eat 5 to 9, then it became 11, in some cases even 13 portions of fruits and vegetables a day for optimal health. The problem with it, we'd be all big as a house if we ate 13 portions of fruits and vegetables every day. You have to have 3 at breakfast, 3 at lunch, 3 at dinner, and 3 for snacks. And you're still missing 1. So it's very, very difficult. So this is where the supplementation of something like carotenoid complex is so important because it helps to bridge the gap from what we actually are getting every day to what the optimal is. And this helps to bridge that gap to fulfill those requirements for good health. Now, in every box of Pro Vitality, there are, each packet, by the way, each packet like this is a very unusual product, this is why I want to focus on this a little bit, contains our Tray-NN grain concentrates, our Tray-NN, contains carotenoid complex, and the carotenoid power of 37 raw fruits and vegetables in every box. Every